Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to download and install WooCommerce, and then also how to do the basic setup for WooCommerce using the WooCommerce setup wizard. WooCommerce is a free open source e-commerce plugin for WordPress, and it's sort of designed for small to large size businesses that use WordPress. So first thing you want to do is log into the back end of your site and then navigate down to plugins. And then what you want to do is click Add New and search for WooCommerce. And you should see the first one come up here, WooCommerce by Automatic, and then just click Install Now. Once it's finished installing, you just want to click Activate. Once it's finished activating, it'll immediately take you to the Setup Store wizard, and you will just follow this sort of step by step using the details that you already have. So first things first is to tell you about your online store, and it'll start to get you set up. So it'll ask you for your address and the email address used to sort of contact you, and any notifications will go to this email. You then also have the option to sort of get email marketing from MailChimp about sort of tips, product updates, and anything like that straight to your mailbox. If you want that, then just leave that ticked. If not, just uncheck that. Next thing then, it'll start asking you for information about the store itself. So it'll ask you sort of what industry, what kind of products you'll be selling, and using that it kind of allows you to configure key figures of your store. You'll be able to set preferences for the types of products and the types of products, and also the currencies you want to accept and any shipping methods and things like that. So for example, if you were to sell merchandise like clothing or other items like that, you would just select fashion, apparel, and accessories. You would just go through this list and see which one suits you best, and if not, you would just click other, and you would just kind of give it a description of what you actually are selling and what industry you're part of. Next thing then, it'll ask you what type of products are you listing. So physical products will be anything physical, so if it's clothes, if it's any like bottles or things like that. Then you've got downloads, so if you're selling maybe digital images or any videos or any sort of programs, you could just click downloads. Then you also have the option of sort of subscriptions. If it's a subscription based site, you have the option of selecting that. Same thing with memberships and any bookings. If you're selling memberships or any services that require bookings, you would select those as the type of products. One thing to note is that by default, physical products and downloads are free. You won't need any extra add-ons with WooCommerce. So if you're selling those types of products, you're fine. But if you wanted to sell subscriptions or memberships, things like that, those are add-ons that WooCommerce sell, and then you would need to pay for the extra add-ons. So for example, for the subscription one, that is part of the WooCommerce subscription add-on, which is about $199. So you would just go through and see which one it is you actually need. But for this example, we'll just stick to the physical products. And then it'll ask you sort of questions about your business. So how many products do you plan to display? If you don't have any products yet, that's fine. But if you have an idea of how many products you want, you can select between each of these options here. For now, we'll just do 11 to 100. And then it'll ask you if you're currently selling elsewhere. If you were to select, say, on another platform, a few more questions will be asked. So, for example, what platform is the store using and things like that. And then same with if you own a different store powered by WooCommerce. Just to note, so WooCommerce can't run more than one store, but if you were to have a multi-site, you can have 2 different stores on each site. For this example, we'll just be sticking to just this WooCommerce store that we're setting up, and then just click Continues. The next thing, it'll ask you if you want to include any business features. So this is asking if you want any add-ons to kind of help you expand your business. If you click on the drop down, it'll show you what is being offered. So for example, accepting credit cards and other popular payments will add the WooCommerce payments add-on. Then you have the automated sale tax, speed and security with Jetpack and things like that. For this example, we'll keep it simple and not add these, and we'll go through adding these one by one by ourselves if we need them. And we'll just click continue. Lastly, then it'll ask you for your theme. So for this example, we're just using a child theme of the Hello theme by Elementor. But the other one, it would then be the storefront theme by WooCommerce. So the storefront theme is developed by WooCommerce, and it's designed to work specifically with the WooCommerce plugin, and it works seamlessly with the WooCommerce plugin and all of its extensions. So this would be a good one to use if you're first starting out with your site, and in this example we'll use this one as well. But you also have the option to choose sort of these themes here. So it's split into sort of all themes, paid themes, and free themes. So if you go through free themes, so if you go back onto themes and then click add new, you can search sort of WooCommerce themes and search for any other free ones or any paid ones that you think you might like. But once your theme is selected and it's been activated and installed on your site, you'll be taken to the WooCommerce dashboard, which is just this dashboard here, and you can see sort of a step-by-step of what's left to sort of add to your site. And this includes sort of adding your products, setting up payments, setting up tax, setting up shipping, and any marketing tools, and then also personalizing your store. The first thing that we did was store details, and if you want to go over that again, you can either go through the actual store details wizard, or you can go into settings and change your store details there. So if you decide you want to change sort of if you need to change the address, if you need to change anything like that, what you would do is go into settings here. And you can see that under general tab, you can see store address, and this is where the addresses is set up, and then you can change it here as well. And then once you've changed it, you would just click save changes here. Other things in the general tab, you can see you have the options, so your selling locations. If you decide you want to sell to all countries, then that's fine, but if you decide you want to limit to just say the UK or other countries, you can either do sell to all countries except for, and then you can single out other countries. So if you don't want to ship to the United States, you would just click United States, so it'll ship to all countries apart from the United States. The other option then is to select sell to specific countries, so you can choose if you want to just ship to the UK, if you want to just ship to Ireland and just leave it at that, if you want to add another country to that and have more control over where you're shipping to. You can do that, or you can just go back to just sort of sell to all countries. And then default customer location. Customer's IP address, so it uses geolocate to determine that. The preferred practice would just be no location by default, so that way you can decide on the tax and shipping calculations only after the customer enters the address information in the checkout fields. And the next thing then is enable tax rate and calculations. So you can enable tax and tax calculations by clicking this checkbox here. The tax will be applied based on the local and international sort of tax laws of your store's base location, so this location up here. And when you tick the enable tax calculations checkbox, a new tab is displayed in the WooCommerce settings once you save it, and this will be called tax. So if we save that here, you'll see a new tab showing up saying tax, and this is where you'll set your tax rules. But back to this then, enable the use of coupon codes. So with WooCommerce, you have the option for customers to use coupon codes, and these are codes that you can set up that customers can use to get a discount off certain items or the total of their basket, or if you want a coupon for free shipping, you can set up a coupon for that. So if you don't want the use of coupon codes, you would just uncheck that here. And then lastly then is your currency options. So you can use the currency drop down here to select your set preferred currency when you're doing transactions. So by default it's pound sterling, but you can decide if you want it to be in USD and things like that. Currency position, this is just the drop down to choose where to display the currency symbol, and the fields for thousand separator and decimal separator allow you to select whether a comma or a full stop is used to separate thousands and decimals. So choose based on your location and currency, because I think in the Europe and US they're used interchangeably. The last part of the general settings is the text box to set the number of decimal points, and you can enter your preferred value in number of decimal points text box. You can also just use the up-down controls as well. For this example, we'll just use 2. Lastly, with the enable coupons, you've got if you were to enable that, you have the option then that says calculate coupon discount sequentially, and this is when a customer has multiple coupons to use. So if it's selected, then the first coupon will create a discounted price, and then the second coupon will be applied on that discounted price rather than the full price. So if you want that, you would just click yes, and if not, you would just uncheck that. But once you're happy with all these changes, you would just click save changes, and it'll save from then on. And obviously if you need to make any more changes, so for example if you want to go back and change like the shipping locations and selling locations and any address, you just go back into settings and just edit as you need, so it can always be changed. Next thing then is the products tab, and this is the tab that kind of manages all your product settings. When you're in the product tabs, you can see the sections. This section is separated by 4 different tabs. You've got general settings, inventory settings, downloadable product settings, and any advanced settings. So when we're in the general settings, the first thing that we have is the shop page, and this is basically the page where you're selecting the actual shop page. When we downloaded and installed WooCommerce, it automatically added a few pages to your website. So if we go into the pages tab here, you can see the refund and returns policy, the my account, basket, checkout, and the shop page. These are all new pages that have automatically been added. So what you want to do then is just make sure that the correct pages are linked to in the settings. So the shop page is selected as the shop page. And then you have the add to basket behavior. So you have 2 options. If someone were to add a product to their basket, you can either redirect to the basket page after successful addition, which just means when they click add to cart or add to basket, they'll immediately be taken to the basket page, or you can enable Ajax add to basket button on archives, and what that means is they won't be automatically redirected to the cart page, but a view cart option will be displayed sort of with a tick mark, and this helps your customers sort of continue shopping for other products without the endless back and forth between cart page and shop page. So it's up to you how you want people to shop on your website. If you want people to sort of click on their add to the basket and immediately pay for it, you would click the first one, or you can just, if you want people to continue browsing after adding products to their basket, you would just click the second one. So the placeholder image, this is the attachment ID, or you can paste in a product URL or a content URL, and this is just the image that will show up when a product has been uploaded without a featured image. Again, by default, when you install WooCommerce, you get this image added to your media library, and this is the sort of placeholder image that shows up if you were to add a product without a featured image. Next thing then is the measurements. You can select sort of weight units in the drop down, and this can be the preference of the country you're selling to. You also have the option for dimensions as well, to be in centimeters, meters, millimeters. It's up to you. You then have the option for reviews, so enable product reviews, show verified label verified owner label on customer reviews, and reviews can only be left by verified owners. So these are the 3 settings that you can enable. And this basically, if you enable product reviews, it lets your customers rate the products that they buy. Show verified owner label on customer reviews. This basically will differentiate actual customers who bought the product from other reviewers. So reviews can come up with the verified owner label, and that way people know that this person has actually bought the product and has used it. Reviews can only be left by verified users, so it's up to you. Only customers who actually bought the product can write a review on your store. So if you want to have a bit more control over that, you would just select these tick boxes. And if you don't want reviews at all, you would uncheck enable product reviews, and it'll get rid of that completely. You also have the option for product ratings. So if you want people to be able to add star ratings on the reviews, and whether you want that optional or required, it's up to you. But again, if you don't want a review section at all, you would just unclick that and then just save your changes. So that's the general settings. Next then is the inventory settings. And this basically just helps you track your inventory. So first of all, you have to make sure that enable stock management is ticked, and then this gives you all the options here. With the enable stock management tick, it means you have more control over the stock, and you can sort of set up notifications and things like that. So you can choose the time limit until WooCommerce holds stock for an unpaid order. That's what hold stock means. So the order will be cancelled after sort of 60 minutes if the order doesn't go through as paid. The value you enter is in minutes, and if you leave this field blank, the hold stock option will be disabled. So if you don't want to hold stock at all, then that's you would just leave that as blank. Then you have notifications, so enable low stock notifications and enable out of stock notifications. So what that means is enable low stock notifications means once the value of the stock of a certain product has reached a certain amount, notification will be sent to an email that says this product is currently at this amount in terms of stock, and then you can decide if you want to increase that stock amount or just remove that product completely. It's up to you. Then you have enable out of stock notifications. So if a product has been sold and it's now out of stock, you will get a notification as well. So it's up to you if you want to enable those notifications or not. And then you can decide which email it is. So by default, it selects the emails that you set up in the store wizard, so support our profile tree. But you can change that to another email that you want. If there's other email that and if you want, you can also add another email if it's meant to go to another email as well. And just separate it by a comma, and that way it's all that way you can have more than one notifications going to different emails. Low stock threshold, so this is the amount that's referred to the low stock notifications. So for example, if we set this to 10, if the stock of a product hits 10, then you will get a notification saying there's only 10 of these left, what do you want to do? And then out of stock threshold, so you can select if you want the out of stock threshold to be 0 to show that the product's been out of stock. You can also increase this to a different amount. But if we set, for example, if we set this to 4, it means that once the product inventory hits 4, the out of stock threshold email will be sent, and then also online it'll say the product is out of stock. So it's up to you if you want to have that sort of assurance there. It is advisable to set a value more than 1 for out of stock threshold, because it just means that you can keep some products in stock in case you face any issues with the previous order or things like that. Out of stock visibility, so if a product is marked as out of stock, it'll be hidden from the store, so it's up to you if you want to hide them or if you want to just show them with the out of stock display. And then stock display format, so you have some options on how you want the stock to be shown. So if you want to show the remaining quantity, it'll show as 12 in stock or whatever the amount is. Only show quantity remaining in stock when low, so it'll say when it reaches the threshold, it'll say only 3 left, only 2 left, things like that. Or you can just choose to never show the quantity remaining in stock, and it'll just say either in stock or out of stock. Once you're happy with all of that, you just click Save Changes. And that's your inventory settings saved. And again, you can go back into this and change the settings if you need to. The next tab then is the downloadable products. And this is important if you want to sell downloads on your store. The file download method has 3 options. So forced download is one of them, XSL, redirect, and then there's also redirect only. So WooCommerce recommends the second one as the most reliable option, but I'll go through each of them anyway. So forced downloads are file downloads that are being forced. To ensure files are protected from direct linking, forced downloads can be used. But if your files are large and your server can't handle it, the user might experience timeouts during download. In that case, you may need to either look at your server or use the redirect method. The second option then, this means that downloads are handled by the server, and that means the XXL redirect and the XSend file module needs to be installed and enabled on the server. So you need to confirm that with your web post that you have these modules installed before you use that method. It's the most reliable because the file is served directly to the customer and gives you the best performance. And it's also protected as well, so it makes it quite secure. That's why WooCommerce recommend it. The next then is the redirect only. So when users download a file, their link redirects to the file. Using this method though means that your files are unprotected, and whoever has that link will be able to access the file even if they're not logged in, if they haven't paid for it. And the next thing then is you have an option to allow using redirect mode as a last resort. So what that means is if you have selected either forced downloads or XXL redirect, then you may want to select the allow using redirect mode as a last resort. So what that means is if for any reason a file can't be served via your preferred method, then a redirect will be used instead. This sort of comes with similar drawbacks as I said previously about the file being insecure, but it can be useful in situations if your host can't serve the file that it needs to serve. So I would just select that as a fallback then. Access restriction, so you need to choose a level of access restriction. So for example, downloads require login. It just means that someone has to log in first and then be able to download the file. Guest checkout would need to be disabled, and then the grant access to download product after payment. So you would tick that if you want to grant access to files when orders are processing instead of completed. And the next thing then is file name. So if you select append a unique string to a file name for security, what that means is if you want to make sure that the security of your files is enhanced, it's recommended to be turned on and was turned on by default, but it's not required if someone has properly sort of configured their directory. But once you're happy with that, you just click Save Changes. And then that's the downloadable products section saved. Last tab then is the Advanced tab. And this is just a few checkboxes. So the first one is Enable Table Usage. So this just basically lets you use the product attributes for catalog filtering. So as you add more and more products, you can add different attributes to them. For example, color, size, and weight and things like that. And you can use those attributes to kind of allow for lookup for catalog filtering. Next thing then is the tax rate, so setting up taxes in WooCommerce. It can be kind of complex, but WooCommerce has set it up to make it as straightforward as possible. So first thing you want to do is, as mentioned previously, you want to make sure that in the general tab, the enable taxes checkbox is enabled. If it's not checked, then you won't get this tab here. So once it's enabled, you'll see under the tab it's separated into different 4 sections. You have general tax options, standard rates, reduced rates, and 0 rates. So under the tax option, you can decide if you want to enter the price with tax. And what that means is when you're adding a new product and you're adding the price of it, if you want to add the price including the price including the tax, then WooCommerce will input your catalog prices using your store's base tax rate. So for example, in the UK, you would put prices inclusive of the 20% tax rate. So if you enter a product of $9.99, that will then include the $167 tax. If, however, you decide to click the no, I will enter prices exclusive of tax, then whatever price you put in when you're setting up the product, WooCommerce will take the store's base tax rate and then add that to the price that you've entered. So it's up to you how you want to sort of set that up. And then you have the calculate tax based on either the customer shipping address, your shop base address, or the customer billing address. If you use store base address, then taxes are always based on your store location and not your customer's location, so you want to make sure that one's selected. Shipping tax class. So in most setups, shipping tax is inherited from the item being shipped. So shipping a reduced rate item like baby clothes would also use a reduced rate. If that's not the case in your example, then choose a different tax class. In the case of sort of multiple tax rates in the order, the shipping tax will be applied as follows. So if you have a standard rate in the order, it will be used for the shipping regardless if the rate is high or low. And if you don't have a product with the standard rate in the order, then the first rate found in the additional tax class section, which is here, will be used. So the goal is to make sure that your highest rate is listed in the first in the additional class section if you don't use the standard class, and if you need the highest tax rate to apply to shipping, for example. Within the additional tax classes, it lets you sort of add tax classes to goods that don't apply the sort of standard tax class. So you can add them there. So in this example, we're using the standard tax class, but if there are some items that fall into the reduced rate or the 0 rate, I've added that in the additional tax class here. And then within these tabs here, we can define exactly how much tax is applied. And then display prices in the shop. So on the shop page, you can decide if you want the products to be shown with tax or without tax. And then same with the prices during the basket and the checkout. You can choose if you want the price to be shown with tax or without tax. Price display suffix, it allows you to change display to sort of prices include something % tax or anything appropriate that's for your store. If not, you can just leave it blank and it won't display anything. And then display tax total, you have the option of itemized or as a single total item. So if multiple taxes gets displayed as one total during the checkout or as an itemized list of all the taxes. It's up to you how you want to do that. But then once you're done with those changes, you would just click Save Changes. And then you can go in and start adding these tax classes and exactly how much tax they should add. So for example, most of them will probably fall under the standard tax class. So if we go into standard rates, you can see now that there isn't a rate set up, so we'll just set up one now. So to set up a tax rate, what you want to do is click Insert Row and fill in each of these fields. So for example, country code. So this is a two-digit country code for the rate. and you would use the ISO 3166 page. I think that's here. And you would use the country codes here to define the tax rate. The next one then is the state code. And that's a 2-digit state code for the rate. Just to mention, if you want the rate to sort of apply to all countries and all states, you would just leave it as the asterisk. So for example, if leaving these two as asterisk, it means it'll apply to all countries and on all states. Same with the postcode, enter postcodes for that rate. So you can separate multiple values with semicolons, or you can leave it just with the asterisk to apply to all postcodes. Same with city, so you just separate with a semicolon a list of cities that you want it to apply to, or you can leave blank with asterisk to sort of apply it to all cities. And then you have the actual rate, so enter the tax rate. For example, if you wanted a 20% tax, you would type in 20.0, and that's a 20% tax rate. If you want 30%, it's a 30% tax rate, and things like that. And then you would give it a name. So for example, a tax name, for example, would be VAT. And then priority, so choose a priority for the tax rate. Only one matching rate per priority will be used. So to define multiple tax rate for a single area, you need to specify a different priority per rate. So we'll leave this as 1. If the rate is compound, so it's applied on top of all other prior taxes, then check the box. And then shipping, if this rate also applies to the shipping, then check this box. If not, you just uncheck it, and the shipping won't get taxed either. So for example, if I wanted to make one just for the UK, then I would do the GB tax code, keep all of these blank, and then add the 20% tax in there. In another example, if you wanted to have a tax rate for different state, for all the US states except, for example, California, what you want to do then is type in the US code and then type in the state code, and then if the leave all these blank, and then you would type in the actual tax rate, so for example 7%, and then type in tax as the name, and everywhere else in the US is a different amount, so you would just click US but then keep state code blank, and then give the actual rate there. So that way we've got 2 different tax codes for the US, one for all of the states, and then one for just specifically California, which has 2 different tax rates there. And then once you're done, you would just click Save Changes to make sure all your changes are saved. The same works for the reduced rate and the 0 rate rates. So you would add a tax rate for each of them in the same way. So you have the country code, state code on all of these, and then the actual rate percentage there. So you would add them same way that you would add the standard rates. But once you're happy with everything, you just click Save Changes, and then that's your tax all set up. Next thing then is your shipping zones and shipping in general. So with WooCommerce, you have control over where you're shipping, the different rates for shipping, and your different shipping methods. When you first come into the shipping, you'll see that shipping is split into shipping zones, shipping options, and shipping classes. With shipping zone, this is basically the areas in which you can ship to, and you can set different zones for different areas. So for example, if shipping to the UK has different restrictions, or if it has different pricing or different methods to shipping to somewhere in Europe, then you can set those 2 different zones and set 2 different rules for each of the zones. So when I click add shipping zone, it'll give me a zone name. So for example, I'll just keep this to UK, and then it'll ask you for zone regions. Now I can select by broad, United Kingdom, but if there's specifically somewhere in the United Kingdom, you can limit to different postcodes. So for example, United Kingdom, but only in the BT9 area. So that means BT9 with the asterisk means anything, the postcode has to start with BT9, and then anything after that, that means it restricts to that one. So you can limit by postcode. You can also add more than one area as well. So you can just choose between different sort of areas and have them all in one zone. So it's up to you how you want to have that, but you have full control over that. Next thing then is the shipping method. So you can use a specific shipping method for this zone only. So with shipping methods, you get 3 options. You get flat rate, free shipping, and local pickup. So with flat rate, it just means it'll add a certain amount that you can decide what it is to the overall shipping cost. Free shipping just means that this location qualifies for free shipping, and then local pickup means that customers are able to sort of be able to pick up from your store. With the free shipping, if you want to have a coupon that allows customers to qualify for free shipping, you need to make sure that a free shipping method is enabled for that zone. In this example, we'll use flat rate, and just click add shipping method, and you can see the flat rate here. And then if we go in and click edit, we have the flat rate title. So we have flat rate, then you have taxable, so the tax status basically, if you want the shipping to be taxed or not, you would just set that as none. And then finally the cost, so this is just the cost of shipping, and it's just as a flat rate, for example $3.99, and that way $3.99 gets added to the order and it'll be part of the shipping. And then you just click save changes. You can add another shipping method, so for example free shipping, and then you can set restrictions in order so that customers know what they would need to do in terms of getting free shipping. So for example, free shipping here, and then free shipping requires either a valid free shipping coupon, and then we'll set up a free shipping coupon. A minimum order amount, so their order has to total a certain amount to qualify for free shipping. So for example, you can have a promotion out saying spend £50 to get free shipping, and then the minimum order amount is set here, so you would set to 50 or whatever the minimum order it is. Then you have the coupon discount, so if a customer has a coupon to reduce the total of their basket, or to reduce the amount of one of their products, you can select to add the minimum order rule before the coupon discount, so that they don't have the discount before the shipping. Or if you're happy enough for them to use the coupon for the free shipping and the reduced amount, you can just select that. You can choose either a minimum order or a coupon. So if you want both, if you want to give them the option of either free shipping or with a coupon, you can. Then you have a minimum order and a coupon, so they would need both the minimum order and the coupon. So if you want to have a promotion out saying use this code to get free shipping off your £80 order or something like that. In this case, we'll use a minimum order amount, and we'll just set it to 50, and then just click save changes. The next one then is local pickup, and this just lets users sort of pick it up from your store. So if we click edit, you can give it a cost if you want, and you can have that as a taxable cost, or you can have it free. It's up to you. We can just set that as free for now. And that's the shipping method set, and that's shipping method specifically just for the UK. If you're shipping to the UK and also somewhere in Europe, but you don't have a shipping method in place for the Europe one, then the order won't go through and people won't be able to make an order. So you want to make sure that the shipping method is enabled for each zone that you're shipping to. But once you're happy with that, you just click save changes. The next option that you have then is the shipping options. These are all optional, but you can decide whether or not to activate settings for shipping calculators, shipping destinations, and things like that. So for example, you can have a shipping calculator on the basket page, or you can choose to hide shipping costs until an address is entered, so it's up to you how you want to make that user journey. Shipping destination, so by default you can default it to the billing address, or you can choose to default to the shipping address, or you can choose to sort of force shipping to the customer billing address so they can't ship anywhere else. And then debug mode, so this is sort of to enable shipping debug mode to show matching shipping zones and to bypass that shipping rate cache. It's up to you if you want to have that enabled or not, but once you're done you just click save changes. The next option then is the shipping class. So shipping classes are used to group similar types of products and offer the same shipping methods and rates for those groups. So for example, t-shirts might have a lower shipping rate than something heavier or larger. So if we go into shipping class and then click add shipping class, we have to add a shipping class name. So for example, shirts, we can leave slug empty, it'll sort of fill it in by itself. And then a description for reference, so this is for back-end use only, so shipping for class for t-shirts. And then just click save shipping class. Once you save, you can just click edit. To go back and change anything that you need to. And what we do with that now is, if we go back into the shipping zones, and then go back into flat rate, you can see now we have a new shipping class, and that means any products that are being shipped into the shipping zone but have this shipping class, you can add sort of special costs to that. So it'll be the flat rate class costs So shipping class can be used to sort of set costs for different shipping class for different items in the basket. The key option here is the calculation type. So if you charge shipping for each shipping class individually, it means that the base cost will be added to each shipping class, and then same with the charge shipping for the most expensive item in the shipping class. It'll just charge for the most expensive shipping class. So if there's two items and one of the items doesn't have a shipping class, it won't charge shipping for that. It'll just charge shipping for the item with the shipping class on it. But once you're done with that, you just click Save Changes, and that's your shipping class saved. Next thing then is the different payment methods that you can have on your store. So by default you have WooCommerce payments as an option to install. You also have a direct bank transfer, check payments, and cash on delivery. Each of these sort of come disabled. So if you want to enable, for example, direct bank transfer, you would just click the enable box here, and it'll allow people to do a direct bank transfer. You also have the option for cash on delivery and also any check payments. WooCommerce also have different integrations. So for example, the most common ones would be for Stripe and PayPal. So if you wanted to add PayPal as an option, what you would do is just look for PayPal here, and just click Get Started. And this will sort of automatically be installed and activated for you, so you would just click Activate PayPal. You can also test PayPal with Sandbox payments. But once you activate PayPal, it'll ask you to sign in with your email address, and it'll automatically sort of set up on your end. So you have different options for that. The next thing then is accounts and privacy. So this sort of gives you the option to kind of give customers, if they want to do a guest checkout, so be able to place orders without an account, or if you want to force them to make an account so that they're able to sort of track their orders, and also then you would have them stored on the back end as well. So with guest checkout, you can either allow customers to place orders without an account, or you can select or uncheck that. Then you also have the option of allowing customers to log into an existing account during the checkout. So if they have an existing account, they have the option to log in then. Then you have the option for account creation. So allow customers to create an account during the checkout. So as they're checking out, they can create an account with this username and password. And then allow customers to create an account on the My Account page. So as I said previously, WooCommerce, when you first install and activate it, it adds a few pages that you might need. So one of them being the account page. If we click View, and the account page kind of already set up with sort of their orders. Any downloads will be showed up here, account details and things like that. So allow customers to create an account during checkout. Allow customers to create an account on the My Account page. When creating an account, automatically generate a username based on their name, surname, or email. You can choose to uncheck that and just let them, at the end of the day, they'll be able to select their own username, but it's up to you if you wanted to have that generated there. And then when creating accounts, send the user a new link to set their password, and that way they can set their own password. Account erasure requests, so remove personal data from on orders on requests. So when handling these kind of requests, should the personal data within the orders be retained or removed? Depending on GDPR, you might want to remove those personal data if they're requesting erasure requests, things like that. Same with access to downloads. So if they are handling an account erasure request, should access to the download files be removed as well? It's up to you if you want to remove their access to the downloads, but you would just use that box to control that. So allow personal data to be removed in bulk from orders. So this gives an option to the orders screen for removing personal data in bulk. And the next thing then is the privacy policies. So these section controls the display of your website's privacy policy. So again, by default, WooCommerce have a privacy policy set. They also have a returns and refund policy. This is the text that'll basically be shown on the privacy policy wherever there's a privacy policy, which is usually in the checkout. So your personal data will be used to support your experience, and then a link to the privacy policy, which is this page here. And then you also have a link. This is during registration, and then during the checkout they also have another box there, so it's up to you how you want to word that. but you would use these short codes here, so the privacy underscore policy to link to the privacy policy page. And then you have personal data retention, so this basically just choose how long to retain personal data when it's no longer needed for processing. And you just use the boxes here as numbers, and then you would just choose between sort of if it's months, days, weeks, things like that. But once you're happy with everything, you would just click Save Changes. And that's your content privacy changed. Next thing then is your emails. So these are email notifications. So each of these are different email notifications. The first 3 are for admin, so for you as the shop owner. Every time you get a new order, a cancelled order, or a failed order, you will get a notification saying this order has failed, and they'll give you all the details there. And you can choose if you want to have who the recipient should be. By default, it uses the email that you use to set up, but you can, if you click Manage, what you can do is change the recipient, or you can add a different recipient. So if you want more than one email added there, you just need to separate it with a comma. That means these 2 emails will then get the notification email. You can also choose if you want to enable or disable these notifications as well. That's with all of them. The next thing, then the next few ones, so if there are for the customers, and these are things like the orders on hold, if it's been processed, any orders that are completed, customer note, reset password, these are all for the customer. But again, if you were to click Manage on each of them, you can choose if you want to enable or disable the notification. Then if you scroll down, you have some control over the email template and the sender option. So the from name is the name that will show up on the email as the from, and by default it takes the site name, but you can choose to sort of have the actual name of your company. And then the from address is the from address that shows as who sent the email from, so you can change that as well. Then you have the actual email template. You can choose to have an email or header image. You can choose what's in the footer. So in the footer it'll be the site title plus the date, built with WooCommerce, but you can choose to get rid of that and have something else in the footer text. Then you can choose a base color, a background color, and a body text color. So you would use your font, your own sort of company branding color there, and just use the hex code. And then you have the option for email insights, so it'll just give you email notifications with sort of guidance to complete basic store setup if you're missing anything, and then helpful sort of insights. It's up to you if you want to get those types of emails. And then just click Save Changes. Last thing then to sort of go over is in the Advanced tab, and this is mainly the page setup. And this is just to make sure that all the pages are linked correctly. So the basket page is linked to the basket page, the checkout page is linked to the checkout page, the account page is linked to the account page. Here in this example you can see the terms and condition page hasn't been set yet, so you would just choose, if the terms and conditions page is the same as your privacy policy, you just choose the privacy policy page, or if there is a different page, you would just add the new terms and condition page and then come back here to make sure terms and conditions is set. It's really important you have the first 3 pages, especially if you have the account page enabled, so that users are able to sort of complete their user journey, add things to the product, and then be able to buy things off your page as well. But once you're happy with that, you just click Save Changes, and that's the advanced section done. So that's just a general overview of WooCommerce, installing, how to set up, and going through all of the settings. These settings are always available, so if you need to go back and change anything in like your tax, your shipping, or anything general, you would just go into settings here and then go into the relevant tab and change anything that you need to.